Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka G-Lon33. I'm here tonight with your Smackdown review, aka WWE Draft Night Day 1. WWE is splitting up Raw and Smackdown into two exclusive brands once again. And man, tonight was very interesting. It was very interesting. And I'm trying to gather my thoughts all together. And, one thing is the draft itself. Basically, all the picks were basically spoiled before the show even went on the air. And the reason why I say that is we were supposed to have the draft tonight. And WWE earlier in the day, they put out an article reviewing the entire draft pool. And the way they had it set up is you're going to have 30 superstars for Monday Night Raw. 30 superstars that will be available to be drafted to either Raw or SmackDown tonight. And then 40 superstars that will be eligible to be drafted on Monday. Alright, 70 superstars in total. And it looks like nobody from NXT is getting called up right now based off of the draft pools. And the way they had it set up, Raw would get 3 picks, SmackDown would get 2 because Raw is a 3-hour show. Makes sense. But the draft pool, or the draft pool that WWE put out, the order that it was put in, basically it reviewed all of the draft picks one by one. So basically, after the first round of the draft picks were made tonight by Stephanie McMahon, people went back and looked at the draft pool, and the order that it was listed in was the exact way Stephanie McMahon said the picks tonight. So basically, the draft was spoiled before it even went on the air, and WWE has to be aware of that now. All right. So when we have the second part of the draft on Monday, I don't know if they're gonna change it. I don't expect them to, because why would they? All right, you can't go back and change, the draft order that you had for SmackDown. That's already the draft's. The first part of the draft's already over. All right, and now people already know what you're gonna do for the second part of the draft, basically. Unless you decide to switch out of nowhere, it really wouldn't make any sense. It would be better just for WWE just to come out and just give the draft picks to begin Monday Night Raw and then move on with the show. That's the way I would do it. All right, we had 4 rounds for SmackDown tonight, and I expect we're gonna have way more on Monday Night Raw. We're probably gonna have 6 or 7 rounds, just because Raw is a 3-hour show. It would explain why Raw has a larger draft pool available for Monday night, so more superstars will get drafted as the night goes on. But I'm trying, to think of how WWE's gonna set up feuds and storylines going forward, because if you think about it, we're in the middle of October now. We're gonna be at the end of the year in just a couple weeks, and then we gotta get ready for the Royal Rumble, and then we gotta get ready for WrestleMania. And I'm trying to see where WWE's gonna go with different storylines, and I don't know. I'm confused, especially when it comes to the top of the Raw and SmackDown women's divisions. All right. And let's get into it, alright? Becky Lynch was the first pick of the first round of the draft, which is huge for multiple reasons, alright? For one, this, I think, solidifies Becky Lynch as the face of WWE in 2019, and she deserves it. You guys know me. Anybody that watches me knows that I am a Sasha Banks fan at heart. I love Becky Lynch, but Sasha Banks is always my number one. Right, Sasha's the number one wrestler in the world to me, alright? But, over the last year and a half, especially since after SummerSlam when Becky Lynch initially turned heel, alright, the way they built up Becky, and how she's been booked so strongly, she's barely lost. When she was pinned by Kairi Sane on Monday, that was legit, the first time since midway through 2018 that Becky had been pinned? I read an article on that and I was shocked. Alright, I was shocked. It is rare for anybody to be booked that strongly for that long. And you look at everybody, Seth Rollins is in the face of the company. People have been turning on Seth because of his Universal Championship run, especially after what happened at Hell in a Cell. Roman Reigns, people are still split on him. Lesnar's too part-time to be the face of the company, and it's not Strowman, it's not Styles, it's not Daniel Bryan, it's not really any of those names. It's not even Charlotte. Becky Lynch has been the face of the company this year. Last year, you can argue it was Ronda Rousey. It was Rousey up until Becky took over this year. And, I believe Becky's the face of the company right now. She's the one you see on all the magazines. She's on the WWE video game. She's in all the promo shoot, the billboards. Like, almost anywhere you see WWE now, you see Becky Lynch's face. And that shows you how popular she's become, all right, in the last year and a half. And she deserves to be face of the company. I think the face of the company should be Sasha Banks, but Becky Lynch has definitely earned her spot at the top of the company, all right? And I'm happy for her, all right? She deserves it. The thing with Becky Lynch is now she's staying on Monday Night Raw, but the thing about it is, her challengers going forward. She's beaten so many people, right? Lacey Evans, Natalya, Ronda Rousey, Charlotte, and it seems like we might be getting Charlotte versus Becky again. Asuka, Sasha Banks. The list goes on and on. You think about it is you have Becky as the Raw Women's Champion, and she's been running through everybody. There's gonna come a point where Becky's gonna legitimately run out of contenders. She's gonna run out of contenders, and then that's what people are gonna want to see the championship taken off her, because there's gonna be legit nobody for her to face. Nobody for her to face. And I think there's a legit opportunity that Becky Lynch might hold that Raw Women's Championship all the way through to WrestleMania. It might come to a point where WWE has, and Vince McMahon forces Triple H to bring up somebody like a Bianca Belair or Shayna Baszler, new name for Becky to face. It might come to that point, because you keep having Becky run through people, she's gonna run out of. There's only so many people she can face. Alright, but the way and the way the draft is set up right now, based off the people that were drafted to Monday Night Raw and their women's division, there's Becky's already faced most of these people. She's already beaten most of the names that I'm going to tell you guys as we go through. So I don't know. I really don't know where they go with Becky Lynch from here. But her being the number one pick, her being the face of the company in 2019 is huge. Having a female wrestler shows how far the women's division has come. It shows how far Sasha, Charlotte, Bayley, Becky, how far those women have fought and earned the spot to be at the top of the company. Sasha Banks, was the most talked about woman for the last 2 months since she came back. She's still talked about. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with her on the Smackdown. And Becky Lynch, like I been saying, she's been the face of the company most of this year. And she's earned it, alright? That's just fact. She's earned it. But yeah, Becky Lynch as the number one pick. I want to apologize. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. It falls here, and now I feel like I'm getting sick. So I have a little bit of a sore throat and the stuff, So I just want to apologize really quick. I need some tea or something. But we had Roman Reigns drafted to SmackDown with the second pick. No surprise there. Roman Reigns was highly advertised for SmackDown. And that's the main reason why Roman was moved to SmackDown in the shakeup. And remember, the thing is with Becky, back to Becky real quick. I thought the main reason why I thought Sasha was going to beat Becky at either Clash of Champions or Hell in a Cell is Becky was highly, highly advertised for SmackDown. Basically almost everyone thought Becky was going to get moved to SmackDown. They're keeping her on Raw, but hey, maybe something changed last minute. Because I still find it a little bit shocking that Becky was drafted to Raw. Alright. But we have the OC, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. I'm kind of surprised WWE didn't break them up, because WWE loves to break up stables. We know how WWE rolls. But AJ Styles and the OC, they're staying on Monday Night Raw. And this is a big one. I had 2 specific picks that I wanted tonight. I wanted to see The Fiend and Sasha Banks move drafted to SmackDown, and I am so happy that both those two. It's not often that I get what I want from WWE, but The Fiend and Sasha Banks both getting drafted to SmackDown. I absolutely love this. You know, there's rumors saying that the WWE wanted to do the Fiend versus Seth Rollins at Survivor Series. And after tonight, unless some kind of fuckery happens and Seth Rollins ends up getting drafted to SmackDown, which wouldn't make any sense because Seth Rollins, he is the Universal Champion. Alright? He's already the Universal Champion, and the Universal Championship is meant to be on Monday Night Raw. It's meant to be. It's red for a reason. Alright? I don't know why, but it would make 0 cents. 0 cents now for WWE to do the Fiend versus Seth Rollins at Survivor Series. Especially after that disaster at Hell in a Cell, and now that we know the Fiend's going to be on SmackDown going forward, it would make no sense. Unless you plan to have Seth Rollins move to SmackDown with the Universal Championship, or unless you have plans to have the Fiend win the Universal Championship and bring the Universal title to SmackDown, which would make no sense because the Universal title is meant to be on Raw. You know, there's no point of you guys doing that feud again. No point whatsoever. And after the disaster of Hell in a Cell, it's better that you just move on. Move on. I don't get the title off Seth Rollins. Like, you know, Drew McIntyre was the last pick of the first round. He getting drafted to Raw. All right. That's why honestly I would get Drew McIntyre, build him back up, and have Drew McIntyre, somebody of that stature, take the Universal title. Alright? I would love to see Drew McIntyre have a heel championship run. Because Drew McIntyre, when you look at him, he has champion written all over him. Or Randy Orton. Randy Orton was the first pick of the second round of the draft. He's getting drafted to Raw. He needed that. He's been on SmackDown since the initial brand split in 2016. He stayed on SmackDown the last 3 years and a half. So he needed this. Alright? So Seth Rollins, you know, you have challenges for him. But, you know, honestly, at this point, I don't even care about Seth Rollins having challenges. I just want to see the Universal title off him. Give it to Randy Orton. Give it to Drew McIntyre. Alright? Give it to one of those names. That's what I think you should do. Alright? At this point, unless the Fiend is bringing the Universal title to SmackDown, like I said, that doesn't make any sense. Or some fuckery Seth Rollins brings the Universal title to SmackDown and gets drafted there, there is no point of you doing the Fiend versus Seth Rollins again. You know, you had the Fiend attack Seth Rollins during his Masters Roman Reigns today. That should end the feud. End it, move on. End it and move on. Alright? There's no point. Leave it at that. You've already done enough damage to both men after the disaster at Hell in a Cell. Alright? You take what you got tonight and move on. It's better to do that than do the match again. It's in the past. But yeah, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, all drafted to Raw. Sasha Banks, as I said earlier, the best female wrestler in the world, she was drafted to SmackDown, alright? It makes perfect sense after she lost, even though I'm still kind of mad that she lost at Hell in a Cell. The blue hair, it matches with SmackDown. It's like Sasha was meant to be on SmackDown. SmackDown's the A show, so if it's going to be the A show, you need the A plus best female wrestler in the world there. Alright, I am so excited that Sasha's going to be on SmackDown. She's been on Raw the entire time she's been on the main roster, even before the initial brand split. Since 2015, when she was NXT champion and she was drafted to Raw, she's been on Raw this entire time. All right, so her being moved to SmackDown is going to be beautiful. You know, it's going to be very interesting. I'll talk about it a little bit later in the podcast. What do you do with Sasha? Because part of me, after what we saw tonight with Bayley, part of me is thinking WWE might be forced to turn Sasha Banks back into a babyface. Honestly, you know, and I'm not going to sit here and say I'm against it. Alright? Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm against Sasha Banks being turned into a babyface again. Alright? It's kind of like WWE doing what they did with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was a heel for initially a month, but WWE had to turn her into a babyface. It's kind of the same thing with Sasha. You know, Sasha, even though WWE portrays her as a heel, she gets cheered like a babyface because the fans love Sasha. They love her story and they relate with her. So, and they really don't want to boo her. It's one of WWE's problems. They don't really have legit heels. Sasha portrays herself like a legit heel, but I don't know. and then you can use Sasha's Hell in a Cell loss to Becky to turn her babyface if that's what you decide. It honestly makes sense because after Bayley winning the SmackDown Women's title tonight, we're clearly, unless Bayley drops that title or something happens, right? You're putting yourself in a predicament here. You want to, and we all want to see Sasha versus Bayley. We've been waiting to see a legit, not that bull crap that we saw back, last year with the whole one night they're enemies, another night they're frenemies. No, I don't want to see that shit again. I'm talking about a legit feud like they had in NXT, which led up to, in my opinion, the best female wrestling match of all time: Sasha Banks versus Bayley at NXT Takeover. Right? Bayley's a heel right now. Right? That's never been. Bayley finally legitimately turned heel tonight. She did what I've been saying they should do with Bayley for over 2 years now. They finally did it. So now I'm sitting over here thinking, we're definitely gonna eventually, unless somehow Charlotte stays on SmackDown, which I don't see after what happened tonight, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Sasha Banks and Bayley, it's gonna happen. But it's gonna be weird. We don't really see heel versus heel. We see babyface versus babyface all the time, all right? But heel versus heel, I don't know. I don't know why. No, all right. The only logical thing to make that work would have to be to turn Sasha back into a babyface, or a tweener at best, because Bayley's a legit heel right now. Sasha portrays like a heel, but she doesn't get booed like a heel. I really think you can legit make Bayley look like a heel. I don't know. But, Sasha makes it on SmackDown. That's what matters. We got the two picks that I wanted, The Fiend and Sasha on SmackDown. I absolutely love it. All right? Ricochet is staying on Monday Night Raw. What does this mean for Ricochet going forward? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Braun Strowman gets moved to SmackDown. He needed this. All right, Strowman needed this. All right, for years Strowman has been looked as a loser on Raw, a monster that loses big time matches. All right, but the thing about it is Strowman's going to be in the SmackDown main event scene. But what's going to be interesting to see is what do they do with him? What do they do with him? All right, because remember, Lesnar's your champ right now, and I don't see Lesnar. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Lesnar's not losing the WWE Championship to Cain Velasquez at Crown Jewel. Brock Lesnar's retaining no matter what. All right, no matter if it's disqualification, no matter what, Lesnar's retaining at Crown Jewel. So I don't know what WWE has planned for that. But the thing is, I don't want to see Strowman versus Lesnar again. I don't. So I don't know. But last pick of second round, we see Bobby Lashley drafted to Raw. I'm probably going to guess that Lana and Rusev will be drafted to Raw with him. Just because it would make sense, especially with the story they're trying to tell right now, as garbage as it is. Unless WWE, which they should, move away from that. But I'm willing to bet we'll see Rusev and Lana move over or stay on Monday Night Raw. Next up, we had Alexa Bliss. She was the first pick to Monday Night Raw in the third round. I'm happy about this because it gets Alexa Bliss away from Sasha Banks. And then if Charlotte is moved to Monday Night Raw, like I think she'll be, right? That the two blonde cancers that have done the most damage to Sasha Banks' career will not be on the same brand as her. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's all I can really say. I don't hate Alexa Bliss. I just hate the way WWE protects her. All right. But the way they had the list here, they had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. All right. But the way Alexa Bliss was drafted to Raw by herself, I'm pretty confident Nikki Cross will probably be on Monday Night Raw, drafted to Raw next week on Raw this Monday. I don't know what they're gonna do, with the tag team title situation. If I'm them, I would just do the women's tag team titles on both brands because you're not going to have enough teams. You might have 3 teams max on Raw feuding over those titles. So honestly, I would just allow the women's tag team champions to float on both brands. All right. Next up, Lacey Evans is going to SmackDown. All right. You know, the way WWE has it right now, SmackDown is heavy on heels in the women's division. You have Bayley, you have Sasha, and now you also have Lacey Evans. I'm like, the more I'm looking at it, WWE might be forced. They might legitimately be forced to turn Sasha back into a babyface. I don't know. Um, the Viking Raiders get drafted to Raw. Makes sense, really. You know, they do have a Raw Tag Team Championship opportunity this Monday against Rude and Ziggler. Natalia got drafted to Monday Night Raw. Don't really care about Natalia. You know, I'm more just happy that Lacey Evans and Natalia are on separate brands. I'm so tired of seeing them feud. We also had Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is getting moved over to Monday Night Raw. You know, I kind of want to see Kevin Owens get back into the Universal title hunt. I love babyface Kevin Owens, even though Kevin Owens is better as a heel. But KO needs to start regaining that momentum he had prior to the Shane McMahon feud getting as stupid as it did. I'm talking about Kevin Owens at the beginning of when he initially turned babyface against Shane McMahon. You know, when he was putting out those promos. But you know, Kevin Owens, legit, I would like to see Kevin Owens get back in the Universal title hunt. Maybe you can have Kevin Owens take the Universal title away from Seth. I would not be against that at all. A babyface KO as Universal Champion, I could get behind that. KO had a great Universal title run back in 2016. But I would love to see KO. It's been a while since we've seen KO win a title. I don't remember when. Was the universe? No, KO was the United. Yeah, the last time I believe KO held was 2 years ago. It's been a while since KO has held a championship on WWE TV. I think it was when he was the face of America, when he had that United States Championship gimmick going on. So hopefully KO, you know, hopefully we can get KO back into the title hunt. I would love to see him in the main event in the Universal Championship picture. Next up, we had the Revival, who we haven't seen in weeks. The SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Revival, they got drafted to SmackDown, makes sense. Hopefully, we need them. You know, we need them. We have not seen them since Clash Champions. It's been over a month. I don't know if WWE just doesn't have anything for them, you know. But, you know, hopefully we start seeing them. And then we had the last pick of round 3 was Natalia. Like I said, I don't care about Natalia. We talked about the Viking Raiders already. Oh my gosh, the Lucha House Party. All 3 of them got drafted to SmackDown. Kalisto, Gran Metalik, and Lince Dorado. I don't really care about the Lucha House Party. You know, I think they would be way better off if WWE to split them all up and just have them as singles competitors. But, you know, whatever. I don't really care about the Lucha House Party. Nikki Cross got drafted to Monday Night Raw. Like I said, would make the most sense. Heavy Machinery, they're going to be on SmackDown. So, I'm trying to think of the SmackDown Tag Team division. You know, I'm expecting most likely the Usos to be drafted to SmackDown. We'll see what happens with Harper and Rowan. You know, AOP still has not been drafted yet. New Day hasn't been drafted yet. You know, there's still a lot of tag teams yet, but I'm not going to, you know, say anything, you know, concrete about it until we have the draft, or the second part of the draft on Monday. But the round 4, the last pick of round 4, we had the Street Profits. The Street Profits are going to be on Monday Night Raw. The real question is, it wasn't the question of what brand the Street Profits would be on. The real question is, are we actually going to see them wrestle? I'm tired of the backstage segments with the Street Profits. I know you guys are as well. Tired of them. Let's see the Street Profits wrestle. You see their matches against the Undisputed Era in NXT. We know how great the Street Profits are. Right? Look at what Private Party's doing in AEW. It's time that we see the Street Profits wrestle. They can be a really dominant team in the Raw Tag Team division. Seeing matches against them, against Rude and Ziggler, Viking Raiders, potentially AOP. You know, there's some potential matches there for the Street Profits on Raw. It's time for us to start using the Street Profits and the potential that we all know they have. That was it. That was it for the draft. The night one of the draft. We're gonna see most of the rest of the draft take place on Monday Night Raw. Even though we already have basically, we know what's gonna happen. All right, we know what's gonna happen. We know that's AJ Styles. He's the U.S. champion. We know he's staying on Raw. So Shinsuke Nakamura, he's gonna stay on SmackDown. So the mid card titles are not switching brands this year. And I'm looking down. I see a Drew Gulak. I see a Akira Tozawa. They're in the draft. The draft pool. So it seems like WWE's going to be, if they're not taking superstars from NXT, they're going to be definitely taking superstars from 205 Live and bringing them to the main roster, which I have no problem with. Just look at Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander and some of these other superstars. But since night one of the draft was spoiled tonight, I want to look ahead to the Monday Night Raw draft pool, and most likely, unless something changes, this is most likely going to be the order of the draft. We're supposed to have Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch, all right, to kick off Monday Night Raw, kind of like how we had Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins kick off SmackDown tonight. The winner of that match will get a draft pick for their brand, and the way they have it right now, Becky Lynch is on Monday Night Raw, and Seth Rollins, based off this list, he's supposed to be the first pick, the first person drafted on Monday night. It would make perfect sense for Becky Lynch to defeat Sasha Banks, even though I don't want to see it, because if we've already seen Becky defeat Sasha clean, she made Sasha tap out at Hell in a Cell. I don't want to see that again. I would much rather have Bayley or Charlotte come out, cause a disqualification, and that's what happens. I would much rather have that happen than have to see Becky pin Sasha, or make Sasha tap out again. As great as Sasha and Becky, as great as their feud was, still Sasha should have went over. But it's whatever at the end of the day. And Sasha moved to SmackDown, so this will be the last time we see Sasha versus Becky for a while. All right, but and the thing is, we don't even know if Sasha's going to be cleared, because I've been reading reports Sasha does have a back injury. She has a tailbone injury, so we'll have to wait and see if she's cleared for Raw this Monday. But she is being advertised for the match right now, so we'll have to wait and see. But the way WWE has the draft set up, if the way I think it is, if Becky defeats Sasha or something happens, Raw gets the first pick, like they probably will. Seth Rollins would get drafted to Raw. Lesnar would get drafted to SmackDown. That would make perfect sense. Charlotte Flair would be getting drafted to Raw, which would make sense because she did drop the title to Bayley, which I'm going to rant about in just a little bit. Because you want to make Charlotte look as the greatest female wrestler of all time, but all 10 of her title reigns don't mean shit. Don't mean absolute shit, and it pisses me off. WWE gives Charlotte title reign after title reign after title reign, and she doesn't do shit with it. Alright? Please. Sasha Banks did more in her 28-day title reign than Charlotte did in all 10 of hers. Get the hell out of here. Alright, but Charlotte will get drafted to Raw, but still, you just turned Charlotte babyface a couple weeks ago. So are we going to get a babyface Charlotte versus a babyface Becky Lynch? I don't want to see Charlotte and Becky Lynch again, period. Alright, out of all the 4 horsewomen matches between Sasha, Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte, we've seen Charlotte versus Becky more than any other match. I don't want to see that anymore. Come on. But then they might be forced to do that just because Becky doesn't really have many opponents at the moment. But back to it. Seth Rollins getting the Raw, Lesnar going to SmackDown, Charlotte going to Raw, Titus O'Neil. I don't know why Titus O'Neil is this high up on the freaking draft pool. I don't know. Who cares about Titus O'Neil? The guy has legit done nothing. All right. The only thing I remember Titus O'Neil for was slipping a Crown Jewel during the Greatest Royal Rumble match. All right, that epic fall he had, and when he was tag team champions with Darren Young. All right, but Titus O'Neil is this high in the draft pool. I don't know why. But Times O'Neil would be going to SmackDown. Shinsuke, and the way this thing is set up, it doesn't make sense. It has Shinsuke going to Monday Night Raw, which wouldn't make any sense to me because you have Styles on Raw right now. You're not gonna have both the IC and the Raw, the IC and the United States Championship on Raw. I think Shinsuke is going to SmackDown. Aleister Black, I'm willing to predict Black is probably going to Raw. New Day, I expect New Day to stay on SmackDown. Just because how advertised Kofi's been for SmackDown, but I could be wrong. The reason why I say that is look how advertised Becky was. Becky staying on Raw. I don't know. We have Daniel Bryan. I think Bryan's going to get moved to Raw. Alright, Bryan's been on SmackDown since the initial draft when he was GM. I think Raw would be a good change of scenery for Bryan. Plus I would love to see Bryan get into the Universal title picture. There's definitely matches there for Daniel Bryan that we haven't seen. Like a Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins. Bayley clearly needs it's staying on SmackDown if she's the SmackDown Women's Champion. And to be honest, other than that, the rest of these names I don't really care about. Alright, or at least don't matter. Nothing serious. Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, The Miz, Ali. We'll just see where they all end up. Alright, but after Bayley on this list, nothing else really to talk about. But that's the WWE draft. I wanted to wait till Monday Night Raw to see if this is the actual way that he was gonna have it playing out, and then we could see. Cause still, man, I'm mainly thinking about Sasha Banks and what they're gonna do with her on SmackDown. Is Sasha Banks legit gonna be turned back into a babyface? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But we're gonna go through the rest of the SmackDown results really quickly. Shouldn't take us too long. We had Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins to start off the show. This was supposed to determine who would get the first pick in the draft. To be honest, this was not a bad match. This was aggressive. They went at each other. The finish was probably the weirdest part, where they had the Fiend pop out and attack Seth Rollins once again. Hopefully, like I said, this is the end of Seth Rollins and the Fiend. Alright, I don't want to see that anymore. Stop it. Especially after what we saw tonight. But this was not a bad match. It was competitive. I was surprised Seth Rollins didn't really get many boos. Remember, Seth didn't appear on Monday Night Raw because people WWE wanted to protect him, especially after the disaster and that Hell in a Cell finish. But Seth pretty much got his normal reaction. I just want to see, they need to take that title off of Seth. I am so tired of seeing Seth as Universal Champion. I really think Seth needs to have to drop the title and turn heel. Alright, but this was a competitive match, very competitive match. The spots were heavy. They went at it, reverse spots. Seth and Roman know each other very well. They were in the Shield together. They've had, plenty of title matches over the year against each other. So they know each other pretty well. But yeah, the most part, this was a physical match. Seth was going to the stomp, and then the Fiend appeared out of the ring. He attacked Seth. He pulled some Kane type shit. You guys remember, when Kane would appear, would come out from under the ring, and he would like drag a superstar down under the ring into hell. They had the Fiend doing that too, and Seth was able to escape. He was able to come back up, but then we see the Fiend pop his head back, kind of creepy, and then the lights go out again, the noises, and then we see the Fiend staring back at Seth from the top of the stage. So as I said, the Fiend got drafted to SmackDown, which I loved. It's just gonna be interesting to see what they do. And there's one thing that I found interesting. I don't think WWE's gonna do this, but think about it is Bray Wyatt and The Fiend, yes, we all know that The Fiend is Bray Wyatt. It's like his alter ego, his second, or his split personality. But one thing that could be interesting is, I don't know, maybe you have The Fiend. The Fiend wasn't drafted tonight. If Bray Wyatt, or if WWE wanted to claim that The Fiend and Bray Wyatt are two separate entities, two different people, you could have claimed maybe that Maybe you could have the Fiend appear on Raw and just say, "Oh, that's not Bray Wyatt. That's the Fiend. It's a completely different person." You know what I mean? But I don't know. This is something worth noting. All right. We had King Corbin versus Shorty Gable, so they're actually calling Chad Gable Shorty. All right. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I didn't care. I don't care about this feud anymore. I don't. We've seen this match how many times, and how, um, no matter how good the matches are, legit, we're seeing repeat after repeat after repeat after repeat of the same match. All right, no matter how many times we've seen, no matter how good it is, they've legit run this match into the ground. It was great when we saw the King of the Ring finals. It was great the week after. I enjoyed at least the ending of Hell in a Cell when we seen Gable finally get a victory over Corbin. But we've seen this match, 4 or 5 times now? It doesn't matter. They're legit doing the same spots each and every single week. I'm tired of it. I really am. Move Corbin on to something else, man. Legit. This isn't helping him with the King of the Ring title. It's more, the more we see it, the more pissed off I get. And, I respect Baron Corbin a lot more after the King of the Ring tournament. He impressed me a lot. But, you're just going to make me think the same way I used to think about Baron Corbin if you continue going down this route. End the feud, move on. Alright, you had Corbin beat Gable again, move on. Put these two on opposite brands. I can't stand to see these two go up against each other again. Alright. We had a Brock Lesnar, Cain Velasquez promo. So basically, Paul Heyman came out. And to be honest, I have a problem with this. I don't care about this match at all. I don't. While the match is going on at Crown Jewel, I might just go back and watch their UFC match. Watching reruns of their UFC match is probably more interesting than this feud itself. First off, it was confirmed earlier today that Cain Velasquez, he is now with the WWE family. Remember, the guy has an injured ankle or an injured leg. All right, I think he told WWE that he has to get surgery on it. So I'm willing to bet WWE will probably set it up in this Crown Jewel storyline or at Crown Jewel that Lesnar is gonna attack it's going to attack. Oh, I can't get my words correct. He's going to attack Velasquez. He's gonna focus his attack on Velasquez's leg, and then maybe they'll set up because I don't see Velasquez beating Lesnar. I don't. Lesnar just won the WWE Championship. You're not taking that title off him when he just won it. All right. And Cain Velasquez, this is his first match in WWE. We have no idea what to expect. I kind of hate, Triple H in this press conference today, talking when they made the announcement about Fury versus Strowman and Velasquez versus Lesnar. He kept talking about, oh yeah, WWE, this is what we do with sports entertainment. All right, we're bringing together the worlds of WWE and MMA and UFC. I'm just like, huh? Like, please stop. No. Right? The Tyson Fury Strowman segment was garbage. I'm not looking forward to Lesnar versus Velasquez. I'm sorry. Yes, Velasquez, he's going to be with WWE going forward for at least the next 2 years. If he does need to get surgery. But I'm not interested. Yes, I kind of a little bit cool. They are telling the story that Lesnar, the Beast Incarnate, one of the most dominant forces in WWE history, one of his biggest fears was the night of when he lost the UFC Championship to Cain Velasquez in that TKO in round 1. And then Lesnar, we don't see Lesnar talking on the mic much, but during the Crown Jewel press conference, Lesnar talked on the mic. He was like, I remember that night every single day because I look in the mirror and I see that scar you gave me, the scar that will never go away. And, I kind of like that. Even Lesnar has his fears. And, I have all the confidence that Lesnar's going to defeat Velasquez at Crown Jewel. All right, but basically, Paul Heyman gave his normal promo. We know how good Heyman is on the mic. But basically, this was about Lesnar. He wants to get payback for that loss. He wants to get payback on the man that scarred him. And then we saw Rey Mysterio come out, and This just shows, the fact is this is a WWE Championship match. I don't think people realize that. This is not like a special attraction match. This is a one-on-one match for the WWE Championship. Cain Velasquez, who just signed with WWE today, we have no idea what to expect out of Cain Velasquez. I don't care if he was UFC champion. I don't care. This is WWE. We have absolutely no idea what this guy's gonna do in a WWE ring, and he signed with this company for the next 2 years. All right. And I expect we probably won't see Cain Velasquez for a little bit afterwards. After Crown Jewel, because we know he needs to get surgery on his leg. But Mysterio came out and he promised that he basically promised that Lesnar would get another scar on the other side of his face from Velasquez. The way they're using Rey Mysterio right now, they're using Rey Mysterio the same way Paul Heyman is to Lesnar. Alright? Basically, Rey Mysterio is the talker for Velasquez. It's like, I don't know if Velasquez... I understand, yes, he did UFC, he did real fighting. WWE, you have to do promos and all that. And he's new to this. And he's going to have to learn and develop a character for himself over time. But you can tell WWE is uncomfortable with having Velasquez speak on the mic. He doesn't say much words in English. He's kind of like Lesnar. When he took the mic, he basically said a couple words in English and said most of his promo in Spanish. So, I don't know. I think Velasquez could speak good enough English so where he could give a decent promo. Alright? I don't know. I don't know what to say. Velasquez does not deserve a WWE Championship match. I don't care if Lesnar attacked Dominic and Rey, and Velasquez is like supposed to be Dominic's godfather or whatever. I don't care about any of that. The guy has not had a single match in WWE, but the fact that he has history with Lesnar gets him a WWE Championship opportunity. What sense does that make? We talked about before with Lesnar versus Kofi. We talked about how Lesnar had not earned a WWE Championship match, especially since we hadn't seen him since he lost the Universal title to Rollins at SummerSlam. But now here we are with Velasquez, and Velasquez hasn't done nothing, and he's getting a WWE Championship opportunity. I don't know. Like, it's legit. Oh, we have history. You get a WWE Championship match. Like, well, come on. What sense does that make? This was, I don't know. I don't care. I really just don't care about this feud right now. I really don't. Alright? We all know Lesnar's gonna win. I have absolutely no doubt that Lesnar is gonna destroy Velasquez at Crown Jewel. And then let's move Lesnar on to something else. Alright? Let's actually build up opponents for Lesnar. We had the New Day versus the OC, alright? And basically before the match, I had no problem with this. We had Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Big E introduced breast cancer survivors. Their names were Sarah and Samantha, and they actually got pink, pink championship belts. They basically, it looked like the Raw Women's Championship, but it was pink, white and pink. And then we got into the match, basically and this made sense in a way after Kofi got destroyed in 5 seconds to Brock Lesnar last week. Kofi Kingston gets a little bit of a revenge here. It's gonna be interesting. I'm trying to think of who's been drafted to Smackdown so far, and most of the people that have been drafted to Smackdown so far are people that Lesnar has already beat. All right. After I think Lesnar takes out Velasquez at Crown Jewel, I think we're gonna see a Kofi versus Lesnar rematch, especially with the way WWE fans have been. I think we're gonna get a rematch. I'm not gonna sit here and say Kofi's gonna beat Lesnar. I have no doubt that Lesnar would win a rematch between the two, but I think they're gonna give Kofi and Lesnar another match, and this time at least let Kofi, get some offense in. I think that's what they're gonna set up here, because they did do Kofi dirty. Even though Kofi had 6 months with the title, he legit deserved to get a couple minutes against Lesnar. All right, I don't care. 5 seconds, he was done dirty. He was done dirty. All right. Um, After this, and this was the main event tonight, we had Bayley versus Charlotte Flair for the Smackdown Women's Championship. And first of all, to say before I get into Bayley, all right, Charlotte Flair is a 10 time WWE Women's Champion in only 4 years with the company. You look back at the rest of the faces of WWE's Women's Division. Becky Lynch, she's a 2-time, right? I believe Becky's a 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion, a 1-time Raw Women's Champion. So overall, she's a 3-time Women's Champion in WWE. All right, Bayley, she's the only Grand Slam. I know that for a fact. She's the only Grand Slam Women's Champion. All right. She won the NXT title. She's been a 1-time Raw Women's Champion. After tonight, she's now a 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion, and she won the inaugural Women's Tag Team Championships with Sasha Banks earlier this year. So Bayley altogether, she's a 3-time women's champion on the main roster with a tag team title reign and a NXT title reign. Sasha Banks, the best female wrestler in the world. Sasha's a former NXT Women's Champion. She's a former Women's Tag Team Champion, and she's a 4-time Raw Women's Champion. You know, so soon to be, she's definitely eventually gonna win the SmackDown Women's title, and that would make her a Grand Slam Women's Champion in WWE. Altogether, Sasha's a 4-time Women's Champion and a 1-time NXT and 1-time Tag Team Champion. If you put that all together, all right, if you put Becky, Sasha, and Bayley's title reigns together, their main roster title reigns together, Bayley's 3 singles women's championship reigns, Sasha's 4 single women's championship reigns, Becky's 3 single women's championship reigns. You put that all together, that matches Charlotte's 10 title reigns. So Sasha, Becky, and Bayley's, if you combine their single championship reigns on the main roster, not counting NXT, it matches Charlotte's 10. It matches Charlotte's 10 title reigns on the main roster. Does no one see a problem with that? In 4 years' time, Sasha's won 4 women's championships. Bayley's won 3. Becky's won 3. Charlotte has 10 in 4 years. Absolutely ridiculous. You could tell WWE, you know WWE's going to have Charlotte break the all-time record for championship victories. We all know that's going to happen. But it's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Alright? Charlotte held that title for 5 days. I don't care. I don't care about Charlotte fans being angry tonight. Because Charlotte ended how many of Sasha's title reigns? Alright? Sasha only held those titles. Sasha's had 8-day title reigns, and she hasn't had 1 title reign that's went over a month. Alright? It's about time Charlotte started experiencing some of that. But the bigger problem here is Charlotte has had 10 title reigns, and I want you guys to sit here and tell me, and I don't care, you can even bring her NXT title reigns in there. How many of those title reigns actually matter? How many of those title reigns do you actually sit back and remember them mattering? I think I can remember all of Charlotte's 10 championship victories. This will be a little bit difficult, but I'll try. Charlotte's first championship victory on the main roster was the Divas title reign when she beat Nikki Bella. Alright, I think it was Night of Champions 2015. That was number 1. Alright, she then won the Women's Championship, which later became the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania 32 against Sasha and Becky. Alright, so that's 2. She then won the title against Sasha at SummerSlam. She then beat Sasha, won the title again from Sasha at Hell in a Cell. She then won the title against Sasha again at Roadblock. That's all in the same year, right? Oh, so basically 4 or 5, or basically half of those title reigns or half of those title victories took place in the same year. All right. 6. Her next title reign, I believe, was I'm trying to remember here. All right. Give me a second. I think she won the title from Carmella, if I'm right. No, it was either Carmella or Asuka, something like that. She no. I remember it was Natalia. Yes, now I remember it was Natalia. She meet Natalia for that title later on 2017, right? Yes, she took the SmackDown title from. So now we're at 6, 4 more to go. She then beat Carmella later on. Yes, she then won the title from Carmella at SummerSlam last year, which got her 7th. Then she beat. Let's see, what did she beat? I think she beat Asuka. I think she beat Asuka a couple weeks before WrestleMania, which got her 8th title reign. Yep, I'm right. Yep. She beat Asuka. You guys remember that, like 2 weeks before WrestleMania, which made that triple threat main event the winner take all. And then she beat Bayley. All right, remember she beat Bayley at Money, or was it Bayley or Becky? No, it was Becky. She beat Becky at Money in the Bank to get her 9th title reign, and then she got her 10th title reign um, at Hell in a Cell against Bayley. So I just did off the top of my head. It took me a couple minutes, but I just gave you guys all 10 of Charlotte's reigns. Tell me in the comment section down below any of those reigns that actually mattered, that you actually remember being iconic. None of those were iconic reigns. None of those reigns even lasted that long. I think her longest reign ever as champion was when she was Divas champion. All right, when she held the title all the way to WrestleMania, and then dropped it. Didn't even drop it. She just basically relinquished it for the new Women's Championship. None of those reigns matter. But you guys, Vince and all these freaking plugs, backstage want to say Charlotte's the greatest women's superstar of all time. All of her reigns don't matter. All right, what matters is when you. It's not. It doesn't matter how many times you win the championship. It's how many times. It's how many times you defend it successfully and what you do with the title when you're holding it. That's why, to be honest, after what, other than the bad matches against Lacey and Natalia, Becky's been a dominant Raw Women's Champion. Her Raw Women's Championship reign is gonna go down as one of the best Raw Women's title reigns of all time. If she keeps holding that title. Because Becky has been booked strongly. She's had some great matches in that time, especially the ones against Sasha, and she had some great moments. Charlotte, you can't think about that other than her matches against Sasha, honestly, and maybe the match against Asuka when she ended Asuka's undefeated streak. Other than that, I can't think of anything special about any of Charlotte's 10 reigns. None of her 10 reigns have been special. Maybe 1 or 2 of them max. And that's just me being generous. And WWE, you want to make Charlotte look as the greatest woman superstar of all time? Get the hell out of my face with that bullcrap. She is nowhere close to, she might have, the stats on paper. Alright? But Sasha Banks, in my opinion, is the best female wrestler of all time. The only thing is Sasha doesn't have the numbers. Alright? And that's WWE's fault. So that's why I've been saying Vince needs to start building up Sasha Banks, because she is the best female wrestler in the world. She just doesn't have the stats to back it up. Alright, but getting into the women's championship match. Alright, we see Bayley come out, and I noticed right away something was different. When Bayley came out, she had her hair down. Alright, and I was like, ooh, is this us finally getting the Bayley we've been wanting? I've been saying this for 2 years here on this channel. What they need to do with Bayley heel turn. As any of my loyal subscribers, they know I've been saying this for 2 years. I've never been a big Bayley fan, but I respected her in the ring. The main reason is because I'm not a big fan of Bayley's character. I wasn't a big fan of the hugger mentality. Alright? It's one of the reasons why I didn't really like her pairing with Sasha Banks. I supported Bayley during that time because she was with Sasha Banks. But when you look at it in depth, I was never a fan of the hugger mentality. I was never a fan of the Bayley inflatables. I didn't. To me, she was just a human Teletubby, and that's just me being honest. I looked at Bayley as a human Teletubby, all right, and I've been saying the Bayley we saw tonight. I've been saying we needed that Bayley for 2 years. For 2 years, when we first thought Bayley turned heel, when Sasha came back, when she attacked Becky with the steel chair, we thought that was going to be the start of it. We finally seen it come full circle tonight with Bayley's heel turn. Bayley is legit now fully a heel. All right, she had her hair down. She took, I don't remember what it was, but she basically destroyed the Bayley buddies. She destroyed the Bayley inflatables with a very sharp object. I can't remember what it is right now. She has new ring attire. That's a little more dark. Bayley's ring gear still needs a little bit of work. All right. I think Bayley needs like black mascara. We need to get her with some very dark ring gear, like dark white, dark black with gray. I think would be perfect for her. Kind of like a goth rock star type of attire. But I like the Bayley we see tonight. All right, we're finally getting the Bayley that I've been saying we needed for years. So the match happened. The match actually went on. I think it was like 15 minutes, a little bit less than that, 13 minutes, somewhere around that. It wasn't a bad match. We seen Bayley. Charlotte hit Bayley with natural selection, but out of nowhere, before Charlotte goes for the pin, Bayley rolls Charlotte into a small package and gets the 3 count, and then we get the new SmackDown Women's Champion, Bayley, the Bayley we've been waiting for years. After she was celebrating, the crowd was celebrating with her, but Bayley then grabbed a microphone, and she has a new theme song as well. She has a new theme song. It's gonna take a little bit for me to get used to it. I thought it was okay. I think once I get used to it, it'll grow on me. I want Bayley to have like a dark theme song. But afterwards, she took the mic and she basically said to the WWE Universe, screw you all, and dropped the mic. So there you have it. That's it for SmackDown, really. A great ending. Like I said, Charlotte's 10 title reigns don't mean shit. She legit has done nothing during any of those title reigns. Nothing that you remember, other than the match against Asuka and the matches she had against Sasha. I can't remember anything important, alright, from any of Charlotte's title reigns. But Bayley's the new SmackDown Women's Champion, which most likely means she'll get drafted to SmackDown on Raw. Like I said, WWE might have no choice but to turn Sasha back into a babyface, honestly, because I don't know. Sasha versus Bayley, that's the match we all want to see. It's not going to work with both Bayley finally being a heel and Sasha being a heel. I don't know. I think it's going to be Sasha's going to happen. And I'll probably do another video later this weekend on this, but I think WWE's going to have to turn Sasha into a babyface. But other than that, that's about it. That's about all I got for you guys today. I'm going to wait till, like I said, I'm going to wait till Monday Night Raw to judge this entire, this draft. I want to see if WWE changes the way they have everything set. We'll have to wait and see till Monday to see the final outcome of the new Raw and SmackDown rosters. But I'll keep you guys updated like I always do. Thank you guys for coming through to the review. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you guys enjoyed. Enable notifications by clicking the bar next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Follow me down in the description. My social media is down there. I love talking to you with you guys. And hopefully I'll see you guys for the Raw review on Monday. Thank you guys for all the support. As always, have a great day, guys. Peace.